Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Baxter, and we are on, I believe, day 5, and we are finishing up our please excuse my dear Aunt Sally notes on the back side. I wanted to go through some actual examples that are going to get a little bit trickier, but I know that you guys can do it. So again, order of operations. You know what? If we need to write it down, I'm going to write it down. So up here, I'm going to do my little cheat sheet, and I like to do please excuse, and you're going to start seeing me do this a lot on the board, my dear Aunt Sally. And the reason why I'm putting my M and my D together and my addition and subtraction together are because, again, it doesn't matter which one comes first as long as you solve it from left to right, right? All right, so let's look at this first example right here. 3 plus 2 times 3 plus 5. Well, take a minute, look at that, and I want you to try to solve it. What is the very first thing that you should be solving for first? If you said 2 times 3, you would be correct. All right, so go ahead, pause the video, try to solve this problem, and come back and see what the answer is. Okay, well, hopefully you had a few minutes to figure this out, and this wasn't too bad. What I'm going to do is that 3 plus 2 times 3 should go first, which is 6, plus 5. So now at this point, we should have 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 5, and your answer should be 14. All right, give me a second here. Oops. The next problem is right here, a little trickier, but that's okay, you can do it. Just remember your PEMDAS. All right, so with this next problem, what is the very first thing you need to do? Pause the video, take a few minutes, solve this problem, and come back. Okay, hopefully when you solve this problem, you figured out that 15 divided by 3 is first. Remember, it doesn't matter if division or multiplication comes first, but since division comes first from left to right, we were going to solve that first. And it's okay for you to write all of this out. And the reason why I'm going to encourage you to write every step out is because it's very easy to make mistakes in mathematical notation. And sometimes we're rushing, sometimes we're tired, and that's okay. Or maybe we have the wrong steps and it's a skill we haven't learned yet. And if I can see your mistake, or if I can see your thinking, then it's much easier for us to catch the mistakes that are going on in your head, or maybe where I missed sharing the wrong information with you or something. A lot of times it's just a miscommunication, a misunderstanding, okay? Super easy to do. But the cool thing about showing all of your work and what you're thinking is that when we get to our quizzes and our tests, I really can narrow it down and go, oh, look, we missed this one spot and we got maybe a negative instead of a positive. We forgot something simple. But when I see the rest of the problem, I can look at it and go, oh, but even with this wrong answer right here, Mary continued to finish the problem and solve it the way that she was supposed to, and so she's going to get full credit, or at least partial credit. So that's why it's so important, why your teachers want you to show your thinking and show your work. All right, so going back to this problem. The next thing I'm saying, again, gosh, look at me. I made a mistake. Oh my goodness. See, you could see my thinking. Okay, what should I have done? You're probably yelling at me, Mrs. Baxter, I should have done the exponent first. That's right. 15 divided by 3 times 5 minus, and hopefully you did 4 times 4, which is 16. All right, now let's go left to right multiplication division. 15 divided by 3 is 5 times 5 minus 16. Much better. Okay, and then multiplication comes before subtraction. 5 times 5 is 25 minus 16. And when you complete that problem, you should get the answer 9. Okay, so see, Mrs. Baxter makes mistakes all the time, and it's okay. We can always go back and fix it, right? All right. Now, here is where I was talking about yesterday with the multiplication and using the parentheses for the multiplication. Now, let me ask you really quick. Do I need to do anything with this 5 right here? No, I don't. We've got it down to the one number, and so let's move on and see if there's anything else in the equation as we go along and see what else we can do. Well, yep, I'm seeing parentheses right here. We need to solve that first. Okay, so I've got 2 times 5 plus, leave the 3 out here. What's 4 plus 3? It is 7. Okay, so now we have single digits or single numbers in the parentheses, and we can go ahead and solve. 2 times 5, remember this is multiplication, is 10, and I can't add it to 3 yet because I have another multiplication I have to solve first. 10 plus 21 is 31. And there you have it. Okay, now let's do an example of if I decided to do my own thing willy-nilly, right? All right, 2 times 5, what if I did this? This is my no example. You don't need to copy this. I just want you to see it. 2 times 5. Let's do this. Here, I'll rewrite the problem so you can see it. 4 plus 3. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 3 times 4 plus 3. Okay, I'm going to go 10 plus 3. 13 times 4 plus 3. Ooh, this kind of gets weird. Okay, let's do 13 times 7. Wow. 13 times 7. What does that equal? Let me see if I can figure this out lickety-split. 13 times 7 is, 91. Huh. Does that look anything like 31? No. So we definitely don't want to do that. The order of operations is very, very important. All right. All right. Last one. Now I know this is going to look very, very scary. I don't want you to be scared. All right. Because we're going to work through this together. All right. We have 6 plus 4 squared divided by 3 squared times 4. Ooh, what is the first thing that we do, people? Well, this one is a little bit of an unusual circumstance because we've got some division, we've got exponents. I don't see any parentheses, but I'm going to encourage you when you see a division problem like this, that you put parentheses on the top and parentheses on the bottom, because then that will help you remember we need to get one simplified as much as possible on the top and simplified as much as possible on the bottom before we can divide, okay? So let's go ahead and solve our problem to the right. This is how I like to do these division problems because it keeps things a little bit more organized. Okay, so I'm going to draw my division sign here. And we're going to work inside the parentheses, and I'm seeing that we have the exponents. So let's take care of our exponents first. Remember, this is 4 times 4, not 4 times 2. So 4 times 4 is 16. Let's now work on the bottom because we have a plus sign on the top. I want to kind of just wait and see what happens there. 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which is 9, times 4. Okay, we still have some problem solving to do. Let's do our multiplication on the bottom first. Now, this one is a little different because I know I said let's work left to right, right? Let me make that a little bit neater. But when you have this division sign in between the two, it kind of makes it a little tricky. 9 times 4. We still have something going on inside the parentheses that we have to fix first. Okay, so keep remembering we have parentheses. 6 plus 16 is 22. And 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, now we can do this 22 divided by 36. Well, if you put 22 divided by 36 into your calculator, you are not going to get a nice pretty number. You're going to get a decimal, and it's going to be something like 0.61 or something like that. Until I say let's do decimals, we won't do those for a while, okay? So keep them in whole numbers like this. But if you remember how to reduce a fraction, you look at the numerator, which is the top number, and you look at the denominator, which is the bottom number, and you try to look and say, well, what number goes evenly into both the top and the bottom that I could divide it by? And I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but watch what I do. So I'm looking at my second number here. This usually gives me a clue as to what I can divide both those numbers. And they're 2, 6, They're both even numbers, and 2 is a nice even number, and it goes evenly into 6. So I'm going to try to divide both by 2, and when I do, divide by 2, and you can remember you got to do the top and the bottom, I'm going to get 11 over 18. And that is as far simplified as I can go. I will tell you, though, that I will accept this answer if I see something like that on your paper. All right, and if you go ahead and do the 0.611, that would be acceptable as well. But I really do want to see this bulk, the bulk of this work right here, and you showing your thinking, okay? Now, you could also do, when you get to this part, let's just kind of take it down and go a different track. Okay, so say you get to this part and you're like, my brain works with that division sign right now. You could do it, and you could change it to 6 plus 16 divided by 9 times 4. And you'll still see that you have to solve this first and this first before you can do that. Okay, which is exactly what we did here. So either way, as long as you're showing me your thinking and the order of operations is correct, we will get the same answer, okay? All right, now, let's move on to a little bit of algebraic expression here and evaluating that. That means to take a look at it and try to solve for a number. And in this case, they have given us all these numbers. So A is 7, B is 3, and C is 5. So when they give you those variables, all you're going to do is you're going to plug those numbers in for this number. All right, a common mistake that I see is I'll see students, and I've done this myself too, write 7A. Nope, we're not going to write 7A plus blah, 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 blah. The A should disappear. You don't see it at all because 7 is equal to A, so you can replace the A with the 7. Okay, so your problem is going to look like this now. 7 plus 3 squared plus 2 times 5. Okay, now we can do PEMDAS. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is our exponent. 3 times 3 is 9. And if you want, you can go ahead and do your multiplication now too, plus 10. And what you're going to find is your answer is, let's see, 26. Is that right? My brain is getting tired. Let's see. That's what you should get. Okay, let's do another one. On this one, I'm going to highlight again for us. A is going to be the same. B is going to be 3. C is 5. So let's highlight those. Okay. And you're going to remember to replace it. So A is 7 squared minus B is 3 cubed minus 4 is 5. Okay. Let's see what we get. What should I do first? Well, I'm seeing parentheses. So let's do our parentheses first. And, we've got several things going on in our parentheses, but I see the exponent comes first inside the parentheses. So let's do that. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And then what comes next is our multiplication times 20, or subtracted by 20. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do I'm trying to get my parentheses still simplified. So I have 7, okay, and then I'm going to go 7 times 7 is 49 minus 7, so our answer is 42. Okay, all right, we're going to get lots more practice with these. Don't worry. You will get it. We'll get it, okay? If you need help, please ask me to come over and help. Or, you know what? We have other friends in our classroom who might be really, really good at this. Or when you put two heads together, you guys can figure it out. So go ahead and stop the video and you guys can go ahead and grab the homework and get started. If you have any questions, if you're watching this video, let me know.